What is going on, Metaverse? Have you ever wanted to speedrun the entirety of human civilization in a matter of weeks or months? Maybe you've played 4X strategy games in the past, like Stellaris or Civilization. Or you could be interested in setting up a working cooperative with hundreds of other players focusing on the production, distribution, and governance structures, producing millions of dollars worth of assets in-game. What if you want to do both of these at the same time, and in a way that actually has real-world economic impacts? If that's the case, then Civitas may be the project for you. If you haven't heard of Civitas before, it's okay because we're very early to the project. It was only announced in April of 2022. If you want to find out more information, though, you're in the right place. Today I'm going to share with you what is Civitas, how does it have the potential to redefine the 4X strategy genre, and what can you do now to get involved with the project. So join me, sit back, and let's hear what Annie knows about the most anticipated 4X strategy game of Web3. To get one thing straight off the bat, this is not a paid endorsement. I have no financial involvement with Civitas right now. I'm simply a fan of the game and the genre. That said, Civitas is a standard 4X strategy game in the sense that you'll own plots of land. In that land, you'll have the ability to generate resources, upgrade your buildings, and perform research. You'll be able to go to marketplaces to trade the resources that you have with other players, and you'll be able to explore the rest of the world. However, there are some key differences from traditional 4X strategy games. The first, and maybe most important in my mind, is that Civitas is focused on cooperative gameplay. Now, a traditional 4X is most commonly built with single-player gameplay in mind. You'll then have the ability to play against other people or against other AI opponents with the ability to try and capture the world or win an economic victory condition, develop diplomatic agreements with other players, but you're primarily playing as your own owner of the entirety of your empire. In Civitas, it's a little different because you're going to be set up as part of a city with other players. It will be named, for instance, something like a Great Earth City, like New York or Singapore or London. Now, this is more like a guild structure, similar to EVE Online, for instance, where you have to work cooperatively to share resources with other players in a way that you can't do if you're focusing on just single player. This city will be run collectively by all the landholders that own property within the same location as you do. In addition, you'll have the ability to develop your own city tower, enter new eras of research within your community, forge alliances with other players, and yes, potentially wage war with other cities that you're opposed to. As you work to develop your city, you'll have a shared goal list as well as a shared treasury to allow you to accomplish this with the other players that make up your city collective. You'll be able in this way to reward players that are contributing the most, as well as focus on your priorities as a group. Now, it sounds like you're really not going to have an opportunity to focus too much inwardly, because just like in the real world, there's a great amount of scarcity of key resources. As you know with most strategy games, knowledge is power, so if you want to ensure that you can continue to gain more knowledge about Civitas and other Web3 games, hit that like or subscribe button and join my channel. So back to some of the key unique elements that are true about Civitas compared to other 4X strategy games. The second point I want to highlight is that you'll have the ability to have a character in-game that can travel within the virtual world while you're traveling in the real world as well. This is very different than most 4X games where you don't really have a hero type of unit that's been set up for you. So Civitas is going to be available on both the computer and mobile gameplay clients. What that means is on the mobile side, your character will be able to travel around the world using geolocation technology to find rare resources and capture those. Think of it similar to a Pokemon Go style of game. This allows you to have an on-the-go mechanic that you can engage with if you just have a few minutes that you're waiting on and you're not at your computer, or if you're actually traveling somewhere and you're able to play in that location, you can potentially identify some very lucrative resources that you wouldn't have access to normally at home. In addition, as part of this broader open-world exploration, you'll have the option to play certain mini-games further. We don't know the details of it, but I'm very excited because the combination of this mobile gameplay approach plus the computer gameplay can produce some really interesting mechanics. So a third major characteristic that's unique about Civitas compared to other games is it's part of the Web3 gaming structure. What that means is, unlike traditional games, you actually have the ability to own the own assets that you earn through the game. For instance, your character avatar or your plot of land or some key resources will be part of the Ethereum blockchain. This means that it's going to be securely stored in a way that you own access to via your own wallet. This allows you to buy, sell, or swap any of these assets with other players as soon as you want to. The project is currently evaluating different Layer 2 blockchain technology that will allow you to make these swaps and trades in a way that has very low transaction fees or gas costs. What this means is if you decide living in Paris isn't for you, you can very easily swap your plot of land from Paris and move to Tokyo instead. This play and earn style of game takes ownership from the game developers and puts it more in the hands of the players. The overall point of Civitas is going to be to have a fun and engaging complex gameplay that allows you to also have real-world ownership of things on the side. I believe that this is one of the more sustainable business models in Web3 gaming today, because if the focus is on true gameplay that allows gamers to come in and just enjoy the game while owning their own assets, this is something that has long-term value. It's better than traditional gaming and also doesn't involve some complex Ponzi tokenomics schemes. I'm waiting to see how the overall gameplay looks, as well as to have more information on the upcoming city token that has yet to be launched, and how this will integrate with the real-world economy. So what if you're not sure about the game, blockchain in general, or maybe just want a free-to-play option? Well, I really appreciate that Civitas has thought all this through, and they have a structure called the Nomad structure that allows you to engage with the game in any of these similar ways. So, as a free-to-play player, you'll be given a simple plot of land that you can work, with the ability to eventually build up resources that you can transfer over to the main game if you decide to pay, or you're able to earn additional resources to invest in a plot of land in a major city. This is going to be single player, so you're not as involved in the cooperative side of the game as you would be as part of one of the broader cities or guilds. However, we do expect that this is a very nice entry point for someone that just wants to kick the tires a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the development team behind Civitas. With a game that's this far out from launch, the really important question is, do they have the right resources and team members to be able to pull off their vision? Currently, the team size is around 50 total developers and game designers, which I believe is an appropriate size for a game of this magnitude. We do expect that in the future months we'll hear more information about the potential growth of the team. The development studio is about 8 years old, and they have experience at other titles as well, and so this is not their first rodeo. In addition, we've seen over $20 million in funding put into the game developers by a variety of the who's who of players within the Web3 gaming space. You see titles like Delphi Digital, Framework, YGG, and ETH Lizards that have all come in and backed the project. This overall capitalization puts the project within the top 1% of all Web3 gaming projects currently. So, if you're as intrigued about this project as I was, there are several different ways that you can get involved right now. The first way I would suggest is joining the Discord server. Through that, you'll be able to check out the Medium articles, Twitter, Telegram, and website details. There are quite a number of activities running today in terms of art competitions and raffles where the Civitas team is actually giving out some of their key in-game resources. I was lucky enough to win one of the randomized raffles for the mint of the very first NFT, the Shaman, who's an archetype of the key characters that will be used across the open world environments. If you get involved and join the community today, you also may have some options to win future whitelist spots to earn free NFTs, the land, or the characters themselves so that you can play the game at launch. In addition, I would suggest that you join some of the Ask Me Anything calls, where the overall development team and the founders of the project are making themselves available for you to ask questions about gameplay, the token structure, the actual in-game items and resources. And so this is a great way to really get a lot of information over the coming months before the game launches. If you're interested in a very deep dive about the rest of the information, there's a white paper available that explains further what I've shared with you today. I'd encourage you to find a guild that's going to be involved in further in the game. There are several large guilds that have announced partnerships with Civitas. Additionally, bring other gamer friends or family members who like the 4X genre. Because this is going to be a cooperative game, it's going to be worthwhile to have some friends who have your back no matter which city you end up setting up in. If this is appealing to you, share in the comments what it is that you're most interested about this 4X strategy game that's going to be launching later in 2023. I hope to see you within the Discord, maybe as part of my city, or even as an enemy combatant as we both work to build our empires. And now you know what Annie knows about the most anticipated 4X strategy game of Web3.